This is 3 News Now, your daily update on everything Northeast Ohio with Stephanie Haney.
Hello everyone, welcome back to 3 News Now. I'm Stephanie Haney here on this Thursday, July 28th. Thank you for being here for the top stories from WKYC.com and our WKYC app. Here on 3 News Now, we bring you the stories that matter most to you. These are the stories that you are clicking on, reading, and sharing from our website and from our app. And we start with an update that we are very thankful to be able to give you out of Lodi today, because the parents of a young boy who was found in Lodi have been found. So it wasn't long after the Lodi Fire and Rescue posted 2 pictures of the young boy found on Bank Street early on Thursday morning that there was an update that the parents had been located. The child's photos had been shared at around 7:15 a.m. They were hoping that someone would recognize the child so that he could be reunited with his parents or guardians. And thankfully, that is exactly what happened. Lodi Fire and Rescue said thank you to everyone who helped look for the parents. They have been located and the child is doing fine. Today we bring you continuing coverage of the trial in the excessive force case of Euclid police officer Michael Amiott. This is the 4th day of the trial, and he took the stand in his own defense on Wednesday. We have been live streaming coverage. You can find that on WKYC.com and our WKYC app. He's been charged with 2 counts of assault and 1 count of interfering with civil rights. This is in connection with a violent traffic stop that happened in August of 2017. Someone who took video on a cell phone presented footage of the officer repeatedly punching Richard Hubbard after he was pulled over for an unspecified moving violation. So during the 4th day of trial today, Judge Patrick Gallagher stated that he had hoped for jury instructions at the close of today, but otherwise the trial will continue into Saturday. The first testimony that was given today came from Euclid Police Department Captain Jeff Cutright. He had been with the department for nearly 26 years, and he said that he believes that the conduct that was shown on video and as described was within the policy of the Euclid Police Department, that the conduct was approved by Cutright when he signed off on the response to the resistance form. For more about who testified today and to see that live coverage, you can see that on WKYC.com and our WKYC app. Now we turn to someone who has had pretty terrible luck with their home. There's a Cleveland Heights man whose property has been destroyed 3 times now by speeding cars. He's in Cleveland Heights, as I said. His name is John Gall, and he has lived at the intersection of South Taylor and Fairmont for 23 years. And speeding cars keep destroying his things. He says the problem is that cars speeding down South Taylor can't make this sharp left turn onto Fairmont, and they end up crashing onto his property. He says he's surprised he hasn't been hurt or something worse. A couple of years ago, a speeding car rolled up in his driveway and completely totaled his truck. Then 8 months ago, in November, a speeding car crashed through his house while he was sleeping. He said that he was inside sleeping right by the crash site when the car came through his wall and landed almost in his kitchen. He was asleep this time too, because it also happened on Tuesday. He said he heard a big boom and he came outside and he heard someone moaning and saw his garage and his car smashed in. This was at around 11 p.m. This was a new car that he just bought a year ago, and the garage was demolished. And apparently it seems as if the driver was trying to flee police, because Gall said the first thing he heard was a cop saying, "He's in the house, he's in the house," meaning that the guy from the car was in the house. Gall said that he didn't want to get shot, so he stuck his hands up. And a guardrail used to stand between the street and John's property, from what we understand, but officials removed it last year, telling him that it was an impalement hazard for drivers along Fairmount. Now, nothing has been put back in the rail's place, and it's becoming very costly for John. He said that he's out thousands of dollars, and he's still out his insurance deductible from the first time it happened several years ago. So he says, from his perspective, the only solution is to stop allowing people to turn left onto Fairmount from Taylor Road. His suggestion: put a pile of boulders or something there, or something large and concrete, maybe decorative posts, he had suggested. 3 News has left multiple messages for Cleveland Heights Police Department, but have received no information so far. In the meantime, John is waiting for the police report to be released in this latest incident so he can get started on an insurance claim. That could take a few days. I think if I'm John, I'm moving. That is some terrible, terrible luck. Now, here's an update on the Jif peanut butter salmonella outbreak. According to the CDC, it is over. So for new purchases of peanut butter, not a concern there. The CDC and the FDA have completed their investigation into the outbreak. In all, there were 21 reported cases of salmonella in 17 different states. That's according to the CDC, and 4 people were hospitalized. Now, this outbreak they found was traced back to products made in a facility in Lexington, Kentucky. So the FDA will issue a report in the future about the findings to prevent future outbreaks with information, that preventative information as well. Recalled products, according to the FDA, shouldn't be on store shelves anymore. But here's the thing, peanut butter has a long shelf life, so it could still be in people's homes. So if you missed this coverage the first time around, check your pantry for Jif products. Find the lot code on the back of the jar. This will be under the best if used by date, and it could be next to the best if used by date. So it will be typically under the best if used by date. It could be next to the best if used by date for cups or squeeze pouch products, okay? So if the first 4 digits of the lot code are between 1274 and 2140, and then the next 3 numbers after that are 425. That is a product that has been recalled, and we have that information on WKYC.com, so you can look at those numbers, compare it to the lot number in your product, and see if you have something in your cupboard that might have been recalled. Now let's talk about the weather. It's so far a beautiful day out there today, a little less humid. That's my anecdotal taking note of that as I was coming into the studio here today. But there are some remaining chances of rain out there, so there'll be a mix of sun and clouds, but humidity levels are starting to drop as we head toward the weekend. That's according to our 3 News meteorology team. So the weekend looks absolutely wonderful. 80s and sunshine, so go ahead and make those outdoor plans. Here's the 3-day forecast. Today, a shower or 2, a mix of sun and clouds, low to mid 80s. Tomorrow, that's Friday, morning showers are possible, becoming sunny, and it'll be around 80 degrees. And then Saturday, sunshine with a few clouds, lows in the 80s. Now let's talk baseball, because the MLB trade deadline is coming up next Tuesday, August 2nd, and the Cleveland Guardians are expected to be active. We could see some moves there. There's a lot of conversation around what could happen with the Washington Nationals star Juan Soto, but Cleveland could be a seller as well as a buyer. And if that's the case, one of the big names from the team could be on the move. ESPN's Jeff Passan talked about the Guardians possibly being willing to trade starters Jack Plesac or Aaron Savali. Also, though, that Cleveland would be willing to listen to offers for ace Shane Bieber, even though the asking price for Bieber would be pretty high. Passan said, Cleveland, as it has done every year for seemingly a decade now, is willing to trade its controllable starting pitching. So that'd be namely right-hander Zach Plesac and Aaron Savali, and even Shane Bieber could be had. This is according to Passan. But that's more about Cleveland's long-standing willingness to talk about anyone for the right price. And for Bieber, that price is exorbitant. Now, Bieber has been one of the Guardians' best pitchers since his debut in 2018 in the Major League, but the idea of trading him potentially could make sense. So right now, the 2020 American League Cy Young Award winner is under control with the Guardians through 2024. So this might be a good time for the Guardians to make a trade in order to maximize return on a potential trade. And the reality is, at this point, because the Guardians aren't looking like they will be serious contenders in the playoffs and potentially the World Series beyond 2024, Bieber doesn't really fit in the timeline for that serious playoff contention situation. So that is not to say that Bieber will be on the move or that he's more likely to be traded than Plesac or Savali, but if another team does come calling, the Guardians will be listening, and how good that offer is will determine how long the Guardians stay on the phone. For more on that, if you want to see more of the details, check out our analysis from our sports analyst, Ben Axelrod. That's on WKYC.com. And if you like beautiful things that smell bad, this is the day for you, the day or the 2 days for you, because the Cleveland Metroparks Zoo's stinky corpse flower is blooming right now. It started blooming on Wednesday at around 5:30 p.m. Typically, it blooms for 24 to 48 hours. And when it blooms, it has a very distinct smell. I am not sorry to say that I have not had the pleasure of smelling it in person myself, but other people compare it to the smell of sweaty socks, human waste, corpses. That's why it gets the nickname the corpse flower. But it's very beautiful. It can grow to be up to 10 feet tall when it's blooming, making it one of the largest flowering plants in the world. And you know, it doesn't always bloom. It's only bloomed 4 other times in the last 28 years. Now, the last time was in 2019, so relatively recently. But who knows when it'll bloom again. So if you are in the mood for a pretty rare experience, maybe take your nose plugs and head out to the Cleveland Metroparks Zoo. If you are interested in checking out the Asian Lantern Festival tonight, you can check out that bloom in the dark after hours, because that is an after hours event at the zoo. But if you would rather just check out the bloom without assaulting your nasal passages, you can check the live stream, and we have that on WKYC.com and our WKYC app. That live stream comes from the Cleveland Metroparks Zoo. That's it for your 3 News Now update today for Thursday, July 28th. I will see you back here tomorrow with more 3 News Now.
Thanks for listening to 3 News Now with Stephanie Haney from WKYC Studios. Subscribe now so you never miss an update, and find more on everything you heard here on WKYC.com and in the WKYC app.